Hello and welcome. My name is John Brunswick, and today we're going to be taking a look at things related to the Internet of Customers and the Internet of Things. We've departed a little from our usual format, but we're still in my office. We're just in the lab section. And we brought in a couple of physical devices. To one side, I have a tabletop. On the other side, I'm running a custom application to help service customers. You see, we've reached a point in the enterprise where we now finally have the ability to gather all sorts of sensory data from the environment around us, whether it's GPS, temperature, near-field communication, RFID, and make it meaningful in a way that helps our customers and other constituents have a better experience with us. Basically, take all the friction out of things that aren't adding value to the relationship. So as an example, let's say I worked at a service center and somebody was going to bring in a device to have it serviced. I have my application up here. I also have my application on a mobile device. And the device being serviced just so happens to be an iPhone, which I think we're all pretty familiar with. Let me go ahead and set that on the tabletop. And in just a moment here, we should see the service history actually come up on our applications. And this is happening by virtue of simply the fact that I just set this down on the tabletop. I didn't have to enter any information. I didn't have to query anything. I didn't have to ask somebody for their account number. I was able to get it on my mobile and on the display here. Now, behind the scenes, this is coming from a system of record, and it just so happens that this is Salesforce case information, as well as the commentary within any one of those cases. Let's take a look at another example. Now, this is probably going to go the way of the dinosaur pretty quickly, but let's say I brought in my remote, or let's pretend it's a fancy medical device to have it serviced. The same thing. I simply set it down on the tabletop, and in a moment, the systems here are actually going to refresh with all the case information associated with this device. And we can see here, it's brought up a different account, some different cases. Now, underneath the covers, there are a couple things going on here that allow us to do this. Let me bring back the iPhone case information because it's a little richer, a little bit more interesting. Now, the way in which I was able to do that is using a device called an Arduino. Within the tabletop, I'm actually running a small computer that has the components allowing me to do this. This basically lets you easily prototype out something to listen to the environment. I have a Wi-Fi card here, I have an RFID reader here, and I wrote a small application that listens for any RFID activity near it. And with the iPhone and the remote, I actually put little RFID chips in them. What it then does is makes a RESTful put over to a service I have running in Heroku. I have a Node.js application that uses the nforce library to call the Salesforce APIs. Now, when it gets that information back, it then uses socket.io to communicate out to the client here. If we take a look at our cases, these are actually the cases that we were looking at just a moment ago, but now we're in Salesforce. And we can see here that it's all done in a RESTful fashion. Now, again, the really nifty thing, this was really fast and cheap for me to be able to do. And so our opportunity to prototype all these different things to listen to and interact with our environment has never been more exciting. In the next couple episodes, we're going to deep dive on the Arduino, the different parts of the Arduino, and the application that I wrote that's running on this Arduino. And then we're going to take a look at what we did in Heroku, the Node.js application, which uses nforce to call out to Salesforce, and then socket.io to communicate back with the client. This is hopefully going to be an exciting series, definitely a new area that I think a lot of businesses are going to be very interested at looking at how can they innovate to improve service and accessibility to help their customers. Thank you.